members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. It better be a better year. That's all we're going to say about 2020. But we are going to talk about our top 10 movies of 2020. Now, we traditionally see about 60 to 75 movies in the theater a year. We're not 300 like some people on the internet and stuff, and we go as fans first. We love talking about the stuff, and so we're not going to be Cannes, TIFF, those kind of level kind of movies. We're going to talk about movies that we like. By the way, a lot of them are going to be big spectacular movies, and stuff.
Well, maybe not so much this year, but
not so much this year, but and we take into consideration stuff that's on, like, stuff that was in the theaters, obviously, but also like Netflix and Amazon and
again,
Disney Plus
because
and stuff.
this year,
Because this year, but in years past we've done that too. So
yeah.
So,
but I think more than normal
more than
gonna
normal.
be from other mediums.
So do you have any honorable mentions as we get into our list?
I do. So I actually just watched Underwater today because it came out on HBO Max. This is a movie we saw the trailers for in the movie theater a bunch. I think it came out in the movie theaters like March, April. It was kind of the beginning of everything shutting down.
Maybe like 1st of February. So it was like the first of the year kind of thing, because we kept seeing them in January.
Yeah, so it might have been the end of February, 1st of March. Yeah. I didn't look. And this isn't typically the kind of movie that he likes, so we probably weren't going to see it in the movie theater regardless.
Probably not, yeah.
But it was on HBO Max, and I had some time, so I watched it, and it was pretty good. I think Kristen Stewart did an amazing job. It's along the lines of The Deep.
Yeah.
Is it The Deep? The Abyss. The Abyss.
Oh, The Abyss. Yeah.
And that, and so, she spends a lot of time alone and having to, emote fear, like fear to the point where you're just, you're shaking and you're crying and, and to do that kind of on your own. I thought her acting was amazing.
Yeah, she's been somebody like Robert Pattinson who got kind of a bad rap because of the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
She's actually a good actress. She's kind of wooden at times, but she can be a good actress.
I thought she was pretty amazing in this. And then TJ Miller is in it, and we're not really super fans of his, so he was typical TJ Miller, the kind of wacky, irreverent, crazy guy. The guy who, and I don't know what his name is, he's the baddie in the Ocean's 12 movie that we don't talk about.
The French guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he was in 13 too at the end.
For hot second.
So he's like the captain of the ship, and it's got the normal, stop messing with Mother Earth kind of message.
Right.
In, don't do stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Don't go into the Marianas Trench and open up a wormhole into...
which is basically what they did. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But the, like...
Is this how we get Jaegers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The special effects... water pressure at very, very deep. They're like 6 miles under the water or whatever. Does interesting things to the body. We'll just leave it at that. So their special effects were pretty amazing, and you really felt like it was pretty intense, right? The ship is imploding and they're running, and you really felt that. So I thought it was good.
Well, thank you for coming in to watch our 2020 top 10 movies of the year. That's it. That's the only way we got. I hope you guys enjoyed the list. No, we got other ones. My honorable mentions, I'm just going to go really quick because we've talked about them a bunch already. But Wonder Woman 84 didn't make my top 10 after I kind of put it all together. And so I liked it a lot. probably liked it a lot more than anyone else on the internet, which is fine. I get it. And the domestic box office winner of the year, Bad Boys for Life. It won the box office for domestically for the year, which is weird. It might even be in the Oscar conversation. I don't know. I really
would like
love
to
this
watch
movie.
that again because we watched that in what, January,
February, something
February.
like that. I don't know.
I mean, I barely remember it at this point.
That was 27 years ago when we
was.
last saw it. But I really liked it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And it was going to be in my top 10 all year, and then some other things kind of happened and stuff. And so,
Yep.
so that's where I'm at with my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Let's go your number 10.
Okay, my number 10 is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Mine will be higher on that list. Not
Of
by
course
much,
it will.
but it'll be on that list.
But it was fun.
It was fun, and it's definitely something we needed at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah.
My number 10 was Extraction
Okay.
with Chris Hemsworth. If you're looking for a deep philosophical conversation about life and liberty and all that stuff, this is not that movie.
No.
I love this movie just because of the way it was shot and the choreographed fight scenes and long takes, and it was done by a stunt guy who did stuff with John Wick and stuff. So, and it's Chris Hemsworth, and so I'm always happy about that. Your number 9?
My number 9 is Onward. Again, I don't think you watched
I did not
this,
see Onward, no.
but in my working from home, and we had Disney Plus, so I watched it. It was cute. I would watch it again. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was the one where they
They're-
resurrected the bottom half of their dad.
Yeah, with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was a cute movie.
All right. Speaking of cute movies, my number 9 is Enola Holmes. I was excited about this movie when it came out, and it got me in all the right feels.
Yep.
I really appreciated it. It was not like it's not again. It's, a lot of my list is going to be just like a lot of fun movies, and so
Yeah. I mean, that's what we
typically
needed.
lean to, anyways.
Right, but it was a lot. We needed it a lot this year. So.
Absolutely. So, and I have a strange old man crush on Millie Bobby Brown. I don't think that's weird. And I also have a weird crush on Henry Cavill. That might be weird, but for different reasons. That's so yeah. Enola Holmes was so much fun. So your
Yes.
number 8.
My number 8 was Guns Akimbo.
I forgot Guns Akimbo.
Because again, it was just bat
Batshit crazy.
shit. Are we cursing? Yeah. And we watched it. I was like, okay, this is just gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
And it was, but not to the point where you didn't enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the story.
And Daniel
And-
Radcliffe was amazing.
Yes, and Daniel Radcliffe is always a win. So, yep.
Yeah, I totally forgot we watched that this year too. That was 17 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or something like
Yeah.
that. All right. My number 8 is The Invisible Man. This is actually one of the ones we actually got to see in the theaters
did.
before it went away. Again, like, I'm not super into scary movies, but the way they did this and the way they explained the Invisible Man with modern technology, make it believable.
Yep.
And having it, I think they made it for like $8 million or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it made all the monies. It's just, I want more monster movies like this, which is, I think, maybe what they're trying to do is these standalone kind of things. And they definitely set it up for a sequel. So
Yeah. Yep.
I'm really interested. Your number 7?
My number 7 was Enola Holmes. I put it a little higher. I thought it was a lot of fun. And all of these movies, I'm like, oh, I want to watch that again. I don't want to watch that one
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I don't want to watch that one again.
That's usually a good sign for our scoring and our lists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it's movies that we want to watch multiple times.
Yeah.
There's going to be one that we had to watch multiple times to
Right.
understand it.
Right.
But
And some of
yeah.
them are, we're going to buy them, but, a lot of these are available right now on Amazon and Hulu and
Yeah, Nola Holmes was Netflix, so
Netflix. Yep.
it'll always be on there. It's
Yep.
not gonna
Yeah, probably.
get
Yep.
sold to something else. I don't. I'm not gonna say that. What are we on 7?
Yes.
So my number 7 was Bill and Ted Face the Music. This was one of my top 3 most anticipated movies of the entire year. I loved what they did making it work with the way the pandemic ended up having that the pandemic. This movie specifically, I think, really got hurt the most by the pandemic. It would have come out in August like it was supposed to, and people were going to go to this thing, and it was going to be word of mouth, and it was going to have legs forever, and everybody's going to want to go see it, and then there would have been like this snowball effect of people cosplaying and going and see it in groups and doing stuff, and I just felt like, especially after I saw it, I just felt like this is the movie that got hurt the most.
Yeah.
We'll talk about another one that was hurt probably the most too. But I love this movie. I love Bill and Ted. They told the story from the first 2 movies and updated it and made it make sense and advanced the story. So I just loved it. Number 6.
Number 6 is Extraction. I liked it more than you did, which is weird because it was a fight 'em up movie, but I thought that for all the reasons that you said, the choreographed, the fight scenes, Chris Hemsworth doing something completely different from.
And he had some depth to his character too.
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Yeah, you felt kind of for him, and the being a mercenary, kind of can weigh on you, and so I thought it was good.
My number 6 was the shirt that she's wearing, Hamilton. Now, this is a cheat. The play itself was filmed. The original cast got back together after they had done their run together to film it over a 3-day weekend. I think is what they ended up doing. So they could. And then they were going to put it in theaters, and then Disney Plus is like, we'll just release it because of everything that happened this year. And it was the only thing that anybody could talk about for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In July, into June, July. And we watched it, the first time I watched it, we were in a hotel room in Sedona. Actually, we were in a suite in Sedona, just getting out of town for the weekend. And just eating pizza and watching Hamilton, probably way too loud, but nobody came and complained because it's freaking Hamilton. And yeah, it's so good. It was so well done. So, your number 5.
My number 5 was The Old Guard.
My number 5 was The Old Guard. This, I love this movie.
Yeah, it was so good. I want more. I mean, when it was, that's again a sign of a good movie. When it's over, you're like, I want more. I need to binge much more of this. So
yeah, it just, Charlize Theron as an action star is always amazing. But
the kind of story they live essentially forever or very, very, very long time, and you want to know all about like all the things that she's done and the life that she led,
and just like the layers, and they definitely set it up for more. The comic is definitely set up multiple stories over multiple volumes, and so I've read some stuff, or I've watched some interviews with the guy who actually wrote the original comic, who was on set helping write the script and helping work it out. So it's really it's a pretty close adaptation of his work, but he also understood that there's some stuff that's in the book that you just can't do, physically cannot, and budget wise you can't do, but it just they traveled everywhere, and the cinematic stuff, and this is again another one that I think that would have done really well in the theaters with the word of mouth. And some people complained about the script wasn't very strong or the story wasn't very original, and I don't care. Like, I love this movie, and so
I know. Stop. Just enjoy it for what it is, or don't. But
right. What's the shirt that I want to make? Engage in the story that's being presented.
Right.
That has multiple meanings. Your number 4.
My number 4 is The Invisible Man. Again, I like the scary movies more than you do. Elizabeth Moss. I love her. I love her in Handmaid's Tale. I think that she, again, like I was kind of talking about with Kristen Stewart, she has the ability to just pull up some stuff and present it, her fear, her, crying and all of that. And then you hear interviews with her and she's just this goofy, silly person. And you're like, how did you dig that up?
Right. Go listen to
David Tennant's
podcast. It's called David Tennant Does a Podcast with Elizabeth Moss, and she's just like bubbly and having fun and whatever, and very self-aware of who she is.
Yeah.
Which is very refreshing sometimes with somebody who is that level of actor.
Yeah, but she's like kind of self-deprecating, and she's like, I don't even know how I got here. I don't know.
But the movie itself is so well done.
Yeah. Yep.
We're on 4, right?
Yes.
My number 4 was The Vast of Night. A super tiny little movie. I think the two of us and maybe like 10 other people actually saw.
Yeah.
It was on good. Amazon Prime. It was first-time director, first-time cinematographer, first-time cast. And it dealt with an alien visitation in like Boduck, middle of nowhere, Texas.
Yeah.
And done in the 50s, and just the two leads are just two kids, just handling handling everything, just expressing everything so visually well with their facial, their face and everything. But then their witty banter back and forth. Mm-hmm. And there's a 10-minute zero cut scene that the one girl, and I wish I looked up her name, where she's the
operator, the old plug-in operator exchange thing.
And that whole 10 minutes changes the whole movie.
Yeah.
And she does it all, and it's all one cut, and she's having to change the plugs and do all the things.
Yeah.
And that alone is just something I just love. I love it when that happens.
It was like War of the Worlds meets Close Encounters. It was had a very Spielbergy kind of feel.
Yeah.
But with alien invasion.
Yeah. And you never see the aliens.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's super tiny budget. I think they did it for like $850,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just I love alien movies. I love like alien encounter movies. But specifically, I love alien encounter movies where you really the aliens are like secondary. It's more of what's going on with the story and stuff.
Yeah, and it's a fun story because it's small town 50s America. So
yeah.
Old cars and old phones, obviously, with
the phone. And I loved her, like
exchange.
She's wearing the 50s hoop skirt and the shoes, and she's running across town.
I think we watched a thing too where we watch something afterwards, and she was like, I had to learn, because she's like 18 or
I was gonna say
17,
16, 17, something like that. Yeah,
she has no idea what this thing even is, and the people used to have there was an actual operator who connected calls, and so she had to learn what it was and then how to do it convincingly,
and then did a 10-minute no cut scene, with dialogue and emoting your fear as you're starting to figure out that something is wrong, and to no one.
There's no one there. And she's just in front of the board plugging stuff in.
So good. Go watch it. Watch Amazon Prime. Go watch it. Your number 3.
My number 3 is The Gentleman.
My number 3 is The Gentleman.
We just watched this one again.
We rented it. No, we went and saw it in the theater. It was one of the few that we actually got to see in the theater. So we went and saw it in the theater. We love Guy Ritchie. And so we were going to be in no matter what. And Guy Ritchie doing a modern British gangster movie. He's done some in-period stuff. And in the past or whatever. But we love Guy Ritchie. And we love that his shooting style and his banter and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we watched it in the theater and loved it. And then everything happened. And we weren't able to go get it on Blu-ray like we wanted to. And then it came up on Amazon Prime, and so we rented it and watched it like twice then. And then here in Arizona, things kind of opened up a little bit. And so our record shop, our used record shop, does movies and stuff. And we went and bought, and we've watched it like 3 times since then.
Yeah.
So it's like, like we've watched it a bunch.
Yeah. They're always, it's kind of Snatched, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Guns, kind of just there's like you had to pay attention at least the first time to get the whole to the who done it.
Yeah.
But even a lot of times with those types of movies, once you're like it doesn't matter anymore. But I mean, he tends to. Snatched is the same way. You pick stuff up every time you watch it.
Yeah, and especially with us here in the States, the British lingo and slang takes a little bit to kind of get picked up on now.
Yeah.
Now, we watched Peaky Blinders this year, and so I maybe caught a little bit more stuff in there than I probably normally would have, because Peaky Blinders is...
Yeah,
I need to watch it in subtitles sometimes because they're so off the rails. Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. I love it. Your number 2?
My number 2 is Hamilton. I own the shirt. When the soundtrack became available on Amazon as part of their music service with Prime, I listened to it over and over and over again. I did drama and musicals. I was doing musicals when I was like 9. Sound of Music and The Grinch Stole Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas and stuff. So musicals always have had a place in my heart. And started listening to it, loved it, made him listen to it. He was like, okay, I was listening to it at work like over and over and again, so I knew all the words. Made him listen to it, and he was like, yeah, okay, it's cool. But again, probably because I have a lot of background in it, I can see it going on in my head.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to just listen to the soundtrack. So then it came here. It was stupid expensive.
It was like $300 a ticket, if you could get them.
It was stupid expensive. Yeah. So, needless to say, we didn't go because I think we were getting ready to go to the UK when it came, so we weren't going to spend the money on that. And then they started talking about a movie, got really excited, and then Disney Plus announced that they were dropping it. So, like half of the country, at least, we watched it on the day it opened, then I've watched it a bunch of times since. We did a stream thing with our daughter. She watched it and we watched it. We hit play at the same time, and we like FaceTimed and all watched it together. And all the Hamilton TikToks, and actually I could watch that again.
The Hamilton TikToks or the Hamilton?
The Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could watch that again.
Daveed Diggs is like one of my favorite people now.
Yeah.
Especially after watching him do this, and then you go watch him in Snowpiercer, and his
very different,
and then his social media stuff that he does is just amazing.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
I'm gonna cheat with my number 2, because we saw it on January 5th. Of this year, because it became available for everybody outside of New York and LA, and that is 1917.
Yep. And I just didn't. We didn't put it on our. I checked. We didn't put it on our list last year. I just didn't. I could have put it in my honorable mentions, I guess. I didn't put it on my list because like you said, it was it straddled
It straddled the line, and
but it was
it's my
amazing.
list, so I'm gonna make the rules.
That's fair. That's
It's
fair.
my show. It's my list. The idea of this movie that James Mangold wanted, not James Mangold,
Christopher,
Christopher McQuarrie. I think it's
Ralph McQuarrie.
No, not Ralph McQuarrie. Ralph McQuarrie is the artist who did all the stuff
What are
for
you talking about? The director?
the director. Yeah.
No, it's Christopher Nolan.
No. He didn't. 1917. Look, you have your phone out. You check it. It's. I want to say it's. Oh my God, we are the worst movie reviewers on the
To
planet.
be fair, like you said, it came out in January, which was a million years ago.
But Roger Deakins is the reason I wanted to go see this movie, because Roger Deakins is a cinematographer and he has done a ton of my favorite movies visually wise, and so
Sam Mendes. Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it was Sam Mendes, because it was loosely based off of his
grandfather's
great grandfather, whatever.
Yeah, stories of being in World War One. The idea of this movie, you're going to see a trend with my top two movies. The idea of this movie being one continuous cut, and how they were able to shoot it, and they shot it in order, and how they were able to, keep it all together, and the performances are amazing, and it's one of the most beautifully shot movies because Roger freaking Deakins. Man needs statues out in front of freaking movie theaters. And just, it's everything I love about movies. It's big and scope and scale with a personal story, and beautiful. And we saw it in IMAX, and it was like jaw-dropping how amazing it was in IMAX.
You spend, like, the first time you watch it, you spend the whole time going, how'd they do that? How'd they do that?
Yeah, it's kind of distracting. Yeah.
And just like you said, it's big and it's visual, and so you're just, and it, like you said, it appears to be one long cut. Obviously, they can't make a 2-hour movie out of one.
And not a 2-hour war movie in one cut. Yeah.
But they, I think we watched the extras or whatever, and they kind of talked about how they were able to make it. Some of it was, the trick, like there'd be an explosion, and so that would kind of almost temporarily blind you from what was going on, and they would do the cut there, or there's all kinds of tricks that they used to get the cuts in, but you never, as far as you knew, it was just one long continuous movie.
Right. And Roger Deakins has got a podcast, and he's spent some time with the actors and the director of photography and the camera operators and Sam Mendes himself and stuff like that, and talked about how they did the movie too. So it's not like I just like, oh, this was cool. Like, I've gone in deep on this movie, like sideways, and it just like we have other things to watch right now. I would just go put this on right now.
Right,
just,
like I said, all of these I could go watch again right now.
Our number one of the year is Tenet.
Ta-da!
Now, I'll let you go first about why you love it.
Okay, this is Christopher Nolan. So Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Christopher Nolan. It's crazy. It's a movie you have to watch multiple times to pick up everything. The sound. We saw this one in IMAX.
We saw this in IMAX the first time,
too.
and then Dolby the second time.
The
We
second
saw it
time.
twice in the theater when we were able to go to theaters.
Yeah, it was
and it was out
middle of the summer-ish.
1st August.
Yeah, so
like
things
that.
had calmed down here. The movie theaters had opened, and we went and saw it in IMAX. There was like 10 people in the giant 500 capacity IMAX theater, and then again in Dolby, just because we just needed to, like, there's so much going on, but there's also a story that you need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, I think, when we saw it the first time. It's loud, and so you don't always
By
get
design. By design.
by design, yeah, but you don't always get what's being said, and that's important, obviously, for this movie. And I love the fact that you just keep watching it and figuring out more and more and more. And like Inception, he doesn't answer your question at the end.
Yeah. It
So-
leaves it very much a Kubrick kind of thing of just leaving it up to interpretation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And-
did the top fall, or is
Yeah.
it still spinning?
Yeah.
And he won't answer that. And the same thing with what was his name in the movie?
The protagonist?
No, his friend. His friend
Oh,
he didn't know was his friend.
It's right there. Anyways, yes.
Anyway, now I can't even think of the actor's name.
Batman.
Batman.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, his character, that kind of like the two of their relationship, and which one's going forward in time and which one's going backwards in time, and he just leaves all that.
It's it is a story. It took me four viewings before I understood what was going on.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that, and that's totally fine. What kept bringing me back was the idea of the way it was shot. Like I said, there's a theme with my top two movies. It's the way it was shot and the concept of doing forward storytelling visually and backwards visually, and dealing with the process of visually telling the differences in time of both going forward and backwards.
Right.
So the visual side of it kept me going until I was able to sit down and plot out in my head, okay, this is what this is, this is what it is.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me now to do a dissertation on it, I don't know if I could explain what this movie is. And again, for a top movie of the year, people weren't going to like that.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you a synopsis, which is the same with Interstellar and Inception.
I love Interstellar. I can't explain it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can give you a synopsis. I can tell you kind of a high level.
Yeah.
But you need to watch it and understand what
Engage
it is
in the
for you.
story that's being told.
Right. And they didn't, to give you even bigger appreciation of the movie, they didn't just, like, people are walking backwards and fighting backwards.
Yeah.
And they didn't just run the film backwards.
Yeah,
They
it's
made
a lot of it's
everybody
practical.
walk
Yeah.
back. They marched backwards. And there's a fight between, actually it's between the protagonist and the protagonist, but they don't know that, where one of them is fighting backwards and one of them is fighting forwards, and you see
Yeah.
it twice from both directions, and they filmed it that way too.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
it's I understand why Christopher Nolan pushed to have this movie on the big screen. I get it. I totally get
Yeah.
it. Now, with all of that being said, I really wish they would have held this until everybody could have gone and seen it in the theater together.
Yeah.
This experience in the theater would have been a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. We loved it. Obviously, it's our top movie of the year. But seeing this movie with a packed house would have been... There would have been a lot of, like, hooping and hollering, and also, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like audible, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that experience is one of the things I miss most of not going to the theater.
Yeah.
Is that community. We went and saw Black Panther at pre-screening, and I think we were the only two white folk in the audience. And it's got to be one of my most favorite movie-going experiences.
Yeah.
Ever. Like,
Everybody
ever.
was super engaged in the movie.
But also, like, Endgame. Endgame's on our TV right
Yeah.
now.
Endgame is my, like, I remember people openly sobbing in
Yeah.
the movie, and yeah,
sobbing, but also the
and
cheering and
and
stuff like that. That experience, I think, would have been cool with this movie. Some people, I understand, greatly upset with Christopher Nolan for trying to push this to get out in the theater. At the time, it made sense to try to have this movie be the first movie back.
Yeah.
And it made complete sense.
Yeah. It just didn't work out.
And it
that
just
way.
and people are calling it now a failure because it didn't, make $700 million or $800 million because
Right.
nobody was out.
Right.
And nobody was willing to go to, a lot of people weren't, I won't say nobody, a lot of people weren't willing to go to the theater or couldn't go to the theater.
Yeah.
And so, like, that also has to be part of this conversation when we're talking about this movie, because it's the movie and the event of the movie around itself has become bigger than the actual movie.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be attached to this now. And Christopher Nolan, and for a lot of people, has lost a lot of street cred with them. Good, I understand. Like I said, we went and saw it in the theater twice.
Yeah.
But we were also in a state that didn't really close, and so people were still out going to the bars and stuff, and so a lot of that was just weird aspects of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the movies in my top 10 were actually in theaters.
Yeah.
And that was all pre-March.
Yeah. Except for Tenet.
So, except for Tenet.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get any of the big blockbusters this year.
Right.
If we had gotten all the big blockbusters,
Blah, 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 blah.
I will tell you, I'm 90% sure Dune is going to be in my top 5 next year.
Yeah.
Like, I know. So, like, that's so that just to kind of give you an idea where I was sitting with my list. And so,
Okay.
with all that being said, what was on your top 10 list of movies this year? Let us know in the comments down below. Hamilton. That's an inside joke.
Lafayette.
And Peggy. Let us know what your top 10 Hamilton songs are and the top 10 movies of the year in the comments down below. Please be nice. That is a requirement. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification, and follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links are in the description down below. That wasn't bad. 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And until next, if I didn't do a diatribe about Tenet. And until next time, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And Peggy!